I hold here in my formerly nicotine-stained fingers a copy of The Initiate by M.P. Powers. This is his latest book. It is a story about a character named Richard Duran who breaks up with his girlfriend of 11 years. Her name's Kelly. So he leaves Florida for Berlin, Germany. His version of a midlife crisis, I guess you could say. He takes along in his backpack a book of poetry by the Latin poet Propertius, or as we say in Kentucky, Propertius. He's from the 1st century BC, I believe. The first line of poetry in the book is a line that really struck him. It goes, "Cynthia was the first to capture with her eyes my pitiful self." So now he's going off to find his own Cynthia. And soon after he arrives there, he meets a bartender named Charlotte. She seems to like him, and they exchange emails. He doesn't have a phone yet. And he sends her an email, she doesn't respond. He sends 2 more, she still doesn't respond. That's the end of that. Then he meets another girl named Petra. They exchange emails too, but he lost her email. And then he's on a train, and up a few seats up sits a woman in a leopard print jacket carrying a guitar case, combat boots too. And he thinks, this could be my Cynthia, right? What's more romantic than meeting a stranger on a train? Problem is, the train's coming up on a stop. He's got a decision to make. Is he going to go up and introduce himself, or is he going to get off? So what's he do? He gets up, he's walking down the aisle after the train stops, the door's open, and he walks out the door and goes on his way. And so eventually then he decides on he's going to hit up a brothel. It's a bar/brothel that he goes into. The dancing girls come out, take the customers back to the rooms. And they're back there. I just got this thing like 2 days ago. So they're back there, and it's starting to get hot and heavy, and the door's open, and there's people out in the hall. He asked her, "Hey, can we close that door?" She says, "No. Those people out there are my protection because sometimes the customers get a little rough." So Richard says, "This is too weird. I'm leaving." Problem is, he ain't leaving, because as soon as he tries, the 3 people out in the hallway step in the door and stop him. "That's 300 euros, said the smallest of the 3. He was only about 5 feet 4, but his voice turned him into Andre the Giant. "What?" 310 euros, you touched her tits, he said in a loud and very clear English. "For about a second," I said. "It's 300 euros to do that, plus 10 euros for the drink you bought her." He scowled, rubbing his palms together. The brother then dug a piece of paper from his pocket. He unfolded it and held it up in the light. "Dernenlohn." Dernenlohn is a German word that doesn't have an English equivalent. It's the fee you pay for a prostitute. The starting price was 200 euros, and it went up to 700 euros. 300 euros was for touching a woman's breasts. I told him I didn't have 310 euros. He asked how much I had. I took out my wallet and cautiously opened it. 160 euros was in there. You turn these pages in this book almost like a thriller as you follow Richard around in his search for love. But the meat of the story is in his interactions with the expat community in Berlin and the native Germans too. He's with the expats at a concert in an art museum is where it's at. And up on the stage comes a woman with her guitar. Guess who it is? It's the woman he'd seen on the train before. And one of the expats happens to know her. The expat introduces Richard to our girl. Her name's Naomi. And they hit it off. They start to have an affair, but then Richard has a little problem. He needs little blue bills to keep it going. That's bad whiskey right there. Now, as you can guess, any affair that needs the little blue pills for a crutch is not going to last. So that ends that affair. He's a poet, Richard, our main character. He has a collection that he's self-published called Night Sea Music, one word. And he gets the idea to sell his books in the bars from where he saw another German poet selling his books in bars. Spoiler alert, he does sell a few. But he does not put up like Stephen King or John Grisham type numbers. He also, like most poets do, go on about the futility of life. Here's Richard Durand's version of that. Damn fools, letting other people shit on them all their lives, thinking they need it, thinking they need to join the parade, to accept it, to adapt to it, thinking they need this. Don't they realize it's a mirage? The sun, the earth, this wasted life vanishes into thin air, leaves, as Shakespeare says, not a rack behind. Why even put yourself through it? The agony, the vanity, the slow rotting of the flesh. For what? A handful of air, a punctured balloon? It's a mass delusion, a sprinkle of gold dust. These tricks to keep the species going, love, humor, procreation, all these protectives, even memory, poof, just like that it goes, like a tendril of smoke in the wind, gone forever as if it never were. He does find another Cynthia. This one gets a little complicated. There's a pregnancy and also questions of paternity. It's easy to imagine a 25th reprint of this, 25th anniversary reprint, let's say, of backpackers and pilgrims taking this book along as they try to retrace Richard Durand's steps through Berlin and the rest of Europe. He visits Budapest, he visits Madrid. And I guess this would be easy to see it as being the version of the next generation's On the Road and Sal Paradise. Okay, gotta go make a liquor store run. I was just there 2 days ago.